I'm doing pretty well. A bit better than I think USYD are doing today because they are coming up against our reigning the team who, as you said, are going to be first seed into this tournament. And more than that, USYD are coming in with one player down. At the moment, it's going to be a 2v3. I think the odds are stacked against this plucky USYD side.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, 2v3 for a first game is not what you want to see, especially when you are the kind of underdog seed in this first game. But I mean, we're just waiting on them to join at the moment. It should be a fairly exciting one, though. All the games that I've seen Beat Lethal play have been quite incredible, and I wonder if they're going to, try hard like they normally do and go for those crazy plays, or, maybe if they'll take the 2v3 a little bit less seriously. We'll have to wait and see. But either way, hopefully this the opposing team here can get their third player on, whether it be in the next match or etc, etc. But just along at the moment. But so the playoffs so far, obviously, if we want to have just a look here on OBS at the bracket, we can see that obviously Beat Lethal have started off the tournament with a bye before taking out Swangang in a 4-2, whereas USYD Rocket League, the team that they're versing tonight, also started off with a bye, but then actually came out with a fairly dominating 4-0 over USYD OpenNet Esports. And what's interesting there is Beat Lethal, despite being first seed, actually did drop a couple of games against the 9th seed of the tournament, whereas USYD Rocket League 4th seed of the tournament, but against the 5th seed of the tournament, definitely a superior opponent to something like Swangang, managed to get the 4-0 over them, so that's maybe something telling.
Well, I mean, we did have that game on stream, and it was a decent sort of match. We had the specifically the USYD internal battle on stream, and that was a pretty good match. It was actually relatively, there were some kind of close calls throughout all of the games, the 4-0. At the end of the day, we did expect, kind of the USYD A team, I guess we could call them, to come out on top. But yeah, at the end of it all, this is the stronger of the USYD sides. But UniSA, after all, they did beat Lethal. That was their whole goal for last semester. They did it. They won the entire thing, and now they're coming through and looking really strong. Swangang, of course, being their rivals in the team they had to beat in that grand finals. But I think it's time to it's pretty much time to get on the pitch. But first, I might run through some of our fantastic sponsors. First, of course, it's AOC, our gaming monitor partner. Crystal clear displays, great refresh rates, and a fantastic range. Second of all is Chatime, our presenting partner, one of the fastest growing AEST franchise in Australia, over 120 passionate staff, great mix-ins. Let us know on social media how you have yours. Indomie, of course, as well, our noodle partner. Feed your game with Indomie, no better snack to have whilst watching Uni Rocket League action. And finally, Rig Headsets, what it takes to win. We don't have silly mics and awkward voices, you just need better headphones. I'm sorry, that's the facts of it. I think we're about to get in this game, though. I think there are players all sitting ready to go, and I think we're about to hit the pitch.
Yeah, certainly some exciting stuff. So make it known, whether it be on social media or in the chat, by letting us know which team you think is going to take this out. But it's exciting stuff, because as we looked at the bracket, I mean, we can look one more time here. This is it. This is the semi-finals. Whoever wins this is going to be in grands, and that's super exciting here, whether it's going to be UniSA Beat Lethal or USYD Rocket League. And obviously, in a semi-finals match, Rocket Log, potentially having to play with a 2v3 is a little bit unfortunate here.
Yeah, it is very unfortunate for them. They are, especially because they are fighting up against it. It was kind of expected to be a relatively one-sided affair in favor of UniSA already. They had, like I say, they're the reigning champions. Unless I'm really mixed up my teams, they're the reigning champions. They took out some fantastic teams last year. The grand finals was a fantastic series, and hopefully we see some of that strength again. But kind of as we talked about, yeah. I expect this to be a relatively interesting one. It does seem like UniSA have found themselves a substitute, but even then, you're playing with a team, a teammate you haven't played with as much before, so it'll be interesting to see. Of course, we are in game now. USYD on the orange and UniSA in the blue.
Yeah, definitely is going to be time for kickoff here. See exactly what they're able to get done. I mean, UniSA are, this Beat Lethal team. I mean, it was one of the first teams that I cast. I think it was actually my first ever Rocket League cast night that I saw these guys play, and this was in, the very early stages of the group stage. They were playing against, a team that I don't believe ended up making it out of the group stage, and it was just an absolute wash. They were doing crazy plays. Didn't even look like they were playing the same game, really. Definitely a lot of talent on this team lineup.
A huge amount, absolutely. They're fantastic players. We have such a stacked, such a stacked group, I guess. Not even group, just a stacked finals because of how many players have kind of just entered this year and how many of them are so talented. Previous teams who've been really top contenders have been struggling to kind of make it through the bracket because of how much talent there is. And that's exciting, it just means fantastic Rocket League for us. Right at the moment, USYD are starting off with a fair bit of aggression, and I have to say, if you're going to watch, what an intro to Rocket League. If the first series you ever watch is UniSA beat Lethal, that's ridiculous. This team is so cool. I think they often bring out the best in our Uni League tournaments. And they are, it's interesting because they are kind of on the back foot at the moment, but they don't really show too many signs of cracking under this defensive pressure, of course. For those of you who have just tuned in for the playoffs who haven't seen it since the group stage, this is going to be a best of 7, unlike the best of 5 we've seen elsewise. So plenty of games to go, teams kind of playing slowly, feeling each other out a bit. That's kind of what we see a lot in these first games of a series, and Eki goes for a decent shot, but it's just Wizards going to block it out pretty comfortably. Again, not much momentum built just yet.
Yeah, I feel like there are a lot of really top-tier OC Rocket League teams. I don't know what that is. I think it's, it's probably a combination of just Australian culture in general. A lot of Australians love their footy and they love their cars, and Rocket League is just some weird amalgamation of both of them. It seems to, have itself a decent player base in this country as a result of it. But, the talent that brings of having a competitive online environment within the region definitely is shown when it comes to regional big tournaments like this, when you have so many of those players come together.
And also Australians used to dealing with lag, so Rocket League servers don't, it doesn't bother us if they're a bit dodgy. So I almost found that though. I was a little scared for a second, but it doesn't come through right off that back of that play. But yeah, they're still kind of holding in the center. It's interesting to see because when we saw USYD play before, they were very good at setting up players, kind of breaking through the defensive line. They had some notable weaknesses on the defense, which they had to kind of clear up as the series went on. And I say notable, they weren't hugely notable. These are still very good players, but we haven't really seen that right yet. And I mean, maybe it's the fact that UniSA hasn't quite clicked with them, that their defense, the attacks haven't quite clicked. And there's a big shot from Negative as well, straight over the top. It feels like we're seeing this is a much slower game than I think we expected. You talked about the fact that UniSA are such a fantastically fast, intense team, and we haven't quite seen that so much in this first game.
Yeah, definitely they are kind of playing it slow. I mean, at the same time, I do feel like they're a team that adjusts incredibly well. UniSA is just one of those teams that typically has a very, very terrifying game 3. Where they will just basically just be reading their opponents incredibly in depth, and that's kind of the mark of the difference between a great and a top tier kind of Rocket League player is not just your ability to play the game yourself, but also play around the opponent's game. And they'll just do stuff where they'll just be kind of dribbling the ball down court, and then all of a sudden they'll just stop and just full break, and someone will just come flying across the screen as if to intercept, and they just They knew that they'd intercept in that point, and they just stopped and just let them just completely whiff, and then they just have an open goal, and they'll get free scores. And they don't even have to do anything super flashy to do it at the same time, and it's just kind of the level of, I guess, prowess that this team is on, that they're able to do things like that.
Yeah, and that was almost a massive crossfield goal, but you're right, it's sort of the fact that they have that comfortability in the passing plays and the setup plays, things like that. They also can do the flashy things, we've seen them pull those sort of moves off in the past, and that's of itself very impressive. The pass down to Eki though, that wasn't quite the touch I think Morse wanted to go for. If we have another look at this, Saya sets the ball up off the backboard, and Morse just kind of doesn't get that strong touch they might have liked, and so, Eki finds a very comfortable goal just cheating forward, and we might have USYD taking this first game in a pretty commanding fashion.
Yeah, this is quite the upset, and I mean, this is something that I alluded to earlier, where we did see, this 4th seed team, this USYD lineup, actually take 4-0 in their quarterfinals game, as opposed to UniSA, who, even though they are 1st seed in this knockout stage, they did have to go, 4-2. They did take 2 losses in their quarterfinals match, and I mean, you know, 3-0 with 20 seconds left. This could be a very convincing game one for this USYD lineup.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of right at the moment is that they are running only 3 of their sort of 4 players, and again, you know, there's more goals and things coming through. But so they are only running 3 of their 4 players, of course. I think Backtrack Jack is a player who can bring a lot to this team, and you know, isn't being run at the moment. But that's not to say that any of the players in this team are bad. And you mentioned the 4-2 scoreline between Beat Lethal and Swangang, and I think we expected Swangang to be like in the semis if it weren't for the fact that they found UniSA. So I'm a bit surprised about this. I think that quarterfinal by most people would have been regarded as the stronger of the 2 in the upper half of this upper bracket, which I know is a bit of a weird way of putting it. So it's interesting. I think that that's in terms of the USYD finals, again, it was like the top USYD team versus the second USYD team, like the second strongest USYD team. And that's like where that sort of big difference came from. Whereas at the moment, it just looks like UniSA. I feel like you said third game, and I think there's a lot to be said for that. But maybe like I might even expect UniSA to come back kicking in maybe even the second game, because normally you just expect a lot more fire from this team, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I also just noticed is that Negative plays this game on 8 ping. That's incredible.
Oh no, that's ridiculous. I was like thinking about the ping and whatnot, because that can be an issue sometimes. It's like getting used to a new lobby and things. We have teams all around the place, but the pings don't look too bad all across the board. But 8 ping is ridiculous. Like, what on earth? Are you literally sitting in the server? Like, that's not quite LAN latency, but it's getting up there.
Yeah, I mean, it is USYD, right? Most servers are Sydney-based, so it does make a little bit of sense.
True. That's actually a very good point. Sydney server privilege. I like it. It's good to see. I guess I feel like it's good to see UniSA getting aggressively quickly on the attack. But I would have thought for a team like this, they would have come out really firing. Like, they would have thrown 2 players up. They've been indexing maybe a little bit to the defense, and I think I'm locked on camera. Yeah, okay, I am. Whoops. And this is a bit more like it. You know, they send a couple of players up, Wizard and Delusion, all sitting on this halfway mark, having a few players there to kind of play the ball. Delusion gets a great pass to the backboard, and Morse puts it in. That's much more like what we wanted to see. It was still a little bit slow, but look at how they set up this play right from the midfield. Wizard managed to get that ball taken out wide. A double commit comes through from the side of USYD, and this is more what we saw in that last game. But yeah, like, this is kind of a better structure for UniSA. Of course, there was a defensive double commit. 2 players went up for the ball, which meant that, you know, there were no defenders left to kind of keep going for that secondary attack. But yeah, that's like, it's kind of a bit more how we expected, a bit more how the analysis went. And UniSA get another quick one, but I feel like maybe this is USYD's defense rather than UniSA's attack.
Yeah, I mean, 2-0, I mean, if they had a bit of a rocky start to this game, then, you know, this second match here is certainly proving themselves to be cementing themselves as first seed, you know, 2-0 after losing without scoring at all in the first game. You know, just warm-ups, getting their hands warm, I suppose, and now they're really pulling off some fancy stuff here. Delusion, some fancy feet. Eki with some great defense.
Yeah, I love how they're already pulling off the showy plays. Like, it was an aerial dribble, sure. I'm sure some people would be like, oh, I can do that in my sleep, but, you know, whatever. It was still cool, right? It's still cool to see stuff like that in bracket, not rewarded with the goal, thanks to, like you kind of pointed out, like, the good defensive work. And Eki was the first player to step up in the USYD team, was kind of the player who was there being like, yeah, I'm making the stalwart defense, letting my team get plays around me. So it'd be cool to see them stepping up a bit more. Wizards are going to play the ball through the midfield most likely, but a nice attempt on the counterattack from USYD, but you got to think they kind of had to put that one away if they want to stay in this game. They are 1-0 up in the series, but I don't know. I still feel like that was a very big opportunity that might have just dropped.
Yeah, the way these players are maneuvering around this ball right now and predicting the way that each of the teams are looking for those passes. Like, we just saw UniSA go for a bit of a pass, but again, Eki was there for the intercept just in the nick of time. And, you know, they turned that around and transitioned that one intercept here into a goal downfield. Just absolutely beautiful teamwork. But yeah, no, the way that they're like kind of reading each other, reading these pass-offs, reading the map movements, positioning themselves around the ball, off to the wings, it's so beautiful. Like, regardless of which team wins this, you can really tell this is some top-tier Rocket League being played right here.
I'm really glad I'm not the only person who calls them the wings, because people are like, oh yeah, played through the guts, through the boards, through the sides, whatever else, and I'm like, oh, that's true. Those are good terms for it, but no, it's the wings. It's a round ball, you know. It's being, well, it's not really being kicked, I guess. It's being flicked off tires and things. But yeah, no, it's the wings. It's supposed to be based off European football. So there we go. I'm glad I'm not the only one. But yeah, like I feel like that goal was very similar to the goal they got before for the side of USYD. They kind of had a player just holding, like, kind of stepping forward a little bit, hanging out in front of the goal, being there for that kind of redirect angle just straight into goal, and it meant that UniSA didn't quite have an answer for it there, especially they committed a lot of defense to that backboard. Those backboard pass players might be the answer, but sort of negative finds another one. Now we've got the scoreline tied up at 2-2. USYD a little shaky on defense, but looking pretty good on the attack though.
Yeah, I mean, 2-2, 2:13 left. I mean, this is basically as close as you can get. And we did see an explosive start from UniSA, you know, 2 goals in only the first couple of minutes of the match, but you know, they've just been kind of losing ground ever since then, and now that, you know, they have to be on the offensive here and pick themselves up another goal, otherwise, you know, it could be a bit of a disastrous overtime. Oh my goodness, Sai! Absolutely skimming across the goal there for that save. That was so well done.
And yeah, it was also the fact that UniSA were just like, it's tempo time. Just went real quick on this attack. Like, I kind of want to see them do, and Sai was just so far. Like, was yeah, there in the exact nick of time. That was a neat little sequence in the tempo possibly being threatened. Maybe they have to, right? Like, maybe this is a situation where if you're USYD, you want the tempo to slow down a little bit more. It's been playing to their favor, these quick pass plays, the passing setup plays coming out of slower pushes down the field. Negative, great 50 as Eki gets demoed. So the play kind of is going to stall out for a second there. Wow, this is just a team deathmatch now, I guess.
It does seem that way. Negative grabbing a good bit of defense against Morse. Yeah. It's going to be Negative again. Stopping these attacks from happening almost before they get shot off.
Yeah, given how close the kind of defenses had to play and how that's cost them a little bit USYD in the first half of this game, I like the midfield control. I like getting up and getting aggressive. The traditional logic when you are the underdog in a Rocket League game is get aggressive on your opponents. Don't give them the space to work with. Whilst generally, like, in an even matchup, you might want to play that space a bit more. You might want to go for bigger intercepts and things like that. Just taking contest after contest, getting in their face is going to cause a lot of problems, and USYD find another one off the back of it. Carry it down the field, and again, it's this passing play. Have a look at the player right in front of goal. Sai just flicks it forward. Eki is there this time, and just flicks it on forward, and Eki is just in the right spot a lot of the time. Negative has been pulling a fair bit of weight in this game as well, according to the stats line, but yeah, it just seems like USYD so comfortable playing this exact same play, and UniSA, at the moment at least, don't have an answer outside of that offensive pressure, trying to open up the goals through kind of defensive misplays almost.
Yeah, just absolutely incredible pass into a very incredible goal. These players are just playing very quick, and the fact that they're able to keep up with each other for so long is honestly something special.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of playing to the tempo favor of USYD a fair bit. I think UniSA might want to push the tempo. 7 seconds left. I mean, it's not the biggest deal if UniSA aren't able to find a score here in this, like, kind of 0th second, but it does mean they go 2-0 down, you know? It means they have to make a fair few games won. Remember, again, this is a best of 7. USYD taking the first 2 games puts them in great stead. They only have to win 2 more, and they have a fair few games in their back pocket to play with. So really, like, USYD in fantastic control so far. I'm just sort of incredibly impressed with how they're playing. It is a comfortable style, but getting in the face of UniSA, not giving them too much room. I think even playing demos when they have to is quite good. Taking the 50s, which they are also winning. They're getting the extra height. They're getting the extra speed off the plays. I haven't been tracking boosts and things particularly well, but it does feel like USYD have advantage of those as well. And I think that all of those pieces coming together is giving them a leg up on UniSA. You talked about the third game sort of... I'm not going to say third game power spike. The third game buff for UniSA, if that comes into effect, maybe we see the game turn around right here. But with the way USYD are looking, it feels like they have plenty of room to maneuver.
Yeah, I mean, to anyone familiar with Smash Bros, Game 4 Leo is very infamous, and I mean, who knows?
True.
Maybe UniSA will have a similar thing here with Game 3 UniSA. We'll have to wait and see, but I've definitely seen their Game 3s in Best of 5s be like, you know, first game is a little close, second game is a little close, then third game they just absolutely demolish their opponents. So we'll have to wait and see if that's a repeat performance here. And Delusion looking to get fancy with it over Eki. Oh my goodness, it's a scramble for defense.
Almost just tried to like run it over the field. It was just like, no, I'm going to bulldoze this play. But there were too many players there. I mean, a passing play might have been a better option there, but I didn't see who the teammates were and where they were. Negative passes this one up gently to Eki, but Delusion just hanging out on that crossbar. Fantastic job clearing it out wide. But Saya straight back on the counterattack. The faster play is coming into effect, so maybe that favors UniSA. We talked about the tempo was like the big factor in this, but Eki's going to get the dispossession, and Morse almost get taken out by the defender. UniSA, they've found the tempo they wanted in this game, but it feels like USYD might actually have answers for this as well. Saya's trying to keep the ball up. Saya's trying to keep the ball aggressive. I mean, this whole idea of like rotational attack is such a key part of Rocket League. The flicker of the defender's good, but Wizard's still there. A stalwart defense from UniSA. But yeah, when we talk about like rotational attack, I guess we call it. There are other names for it, probably better names, but that's what I've been calling it for the last few years. It's the idea that like you always be the one to get the rebound, always be the one to get the first play off the backboard, and you can keep the attack up, and eventually the defense just won't have the boost, won't have the answers for your attacks. As does UniSA do manage to break that, but the more possession USYD can have, the better off they'll look. The 1v1 against Morse is going to be one out, so again, good play in the mid-pitch from UniSA. I feel like they're finding their style a little bit more. That demo might hurt them just a little bit, but they do think the attack immediately. Negative, lovely little double touch, should be able to get this one, at least threatening the clear. So, here we go. Negative actually went up for that one, but Delusion wins that 50. Morse just flicks on goal in a great redirection. In fact, a lovely little shot on target. This is better play from UniSA. A great interception comes through from Morse there. Delusion wins a 50, and Morse just gets back for that secondary touch. This is like the team starting to feel themselves a little bit more. A couple of individual wins up against the opponents of... up against their opponents. And I think that like showing that individual skill is the first step back into it. Sometimes it has to be one player stepping up. And I thought that was a rule 1 for a second between those two players, but it turns out they were back to back, and that one solved a lot faster. Sly's going to put the ball on target right in front of goals and almost had an opportunity. UniSA looking a little unsure of themselves in that defense. Eki with an opportunity, plays off the backboard, doesn't get the second touch, and so that's going to be Morse clearing it out. But again, USYD entrenched themselves in the attack and look pretty good right now.
Yeah, this scramble in the corner right now, absolutely crazy. Who's going to come out on top? It looks like UniSA definitely with the momentum. Negative, maybe looking to change that. Puts himself into an attacking position, get themselves a demo as well. This is USYD looking to even things up right here, and he might just do it. Yes, he will. Negative going over the top of Wizard here.
And there's always one, right? There's always one of these little own goals, I think. It came off Delusion. I mean, to be fair, you can't avoid that, I don't think. But still, at the same time, technically counts. So that's, I think we've had one of those in every single stream of AEL so far. So it's, we're keeping the streak alive. Negative's going to run this one down the field. Of course, USYD evening that up is going to be massive. Negative going on the play, and this might be a pinch straight down the field. It might be the cross-field goal. A little bit tragic, a little bit unfortunate, I guess is better to say for USYD. They were trying to play, they had 3 players committed up, and the plan was to have the player off to the side there, who we just saw on screen, try and push the ball past one defender, the other player demo it, and the other player be the third man. They needed all 3 players to commit to that attack, and to be fair, it would have worked if it weren't for that damn meddling pinch from Morse. So the idea was there, but, it didn't quite work out for them.
Yeah, definitely a really well-placed shot by Morse, all the way downfield. Picking himself up a nice, comfortable 2-1 over USYD right here, and I mean, that's definitely where you want to be in this kind of a series. Having yourself a lead with only 1:37 left on the clock is certainly comfortable off the backboard here.
And I mean, this is kind of another attempt for you, or another opportunity, I should say, for USYD to set up this attack. Side drops the ball in the air, and Eki is going to try and take this rebound, but it wasn't quite fast enough to get the ball past Morse. They have indexed back, they're playing a little bit more defensively now, not going to commit 3 players up on the attack. 2 players forced to take that one, so an opportunity potentially to score for UniSA, but there wasn't quite, I don't know if we can quite call that a double commit. It was close, but not quite there. Delusion carrying the ball over, tries to scoop it up, but Negative in a great position. Problem is 3 static defenders now, but again, like I said, the fact that USYD are willing to get up and kind of get aggressive in the face of the UniSA players is what's done so well for them. And Negative just running straight out of the goal, indexing a little bit more aggressively onto the play, really pulled that ball out of their defensive line and lets them reset their positioning.
Oh my goodness, Delusion almost grabbing that one with some crazy defense. Negative gets the pass, and another crazy save comes through. My goodness, that was two extremely close goals within the span of like 3 seconds. That is just the caliber of teams that we're watching right here. How quickly they're able to convert a single slip up into a near goal attempt. Absolutely mind-boggling.
And I mean, yeah, like it's kind of a good sign for UniSA. It's a good sign for UniSA. They had the speed to get back there on the rotation. Delusion sets the ball up high. It's not quite going to waterfall, but it's in a very awkward position for defense. 2 players commit. Where's the third? If they can bounce it off the wall, it's going to be great. But there wasn't a player. They're all tied up in that attack. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, UniSA still take that game. They still feel pretty good about the way that one is going. And I mean, yeah, like realistically, that was a much better game for UniSA. They found the tempo, they found the pace. I still like the fact that USYD had answers, but it was kind of UniSA's class really showing through. You mentioned it. You know, it's game 3 UniSA. I like it. It's good. It's looking good so far. It was only a 1-goal difference, though, you know. And one of those goals was the fact that USYD over-indexed into the attack. You know, they got a little bit cocky. So, if you're UniSA, you still need to find a bit more into this game. You can't just sort of take that one and be like, okay, we're back, we got this. We're the brand name Rocket League team. But I still feel like those were better. That looked better for them, right? That looked a lot better for UniSA. They found the speed. They weren't getting pulled into some of USYD's sort of scrambly plays, like you've identified a little bit. But Negative might have the opportunity for a kickoff goal, and that's going to feel great for USYD, pulling them back into this one. They feel, it seems like, yeah, like when USYD are able to play their tempo, which is something I've talked about a lot, they look good, but I don't like, I always feel a little bit uncomfortable given how well we know UniSA play whenever USYD are playing for even. I know that they've had like more of the scoring, I know that they've won 2 of the games already, but at the same time, you know, given how good UniSA are, given how the fact that they are starting to find a lot of the plays we wanted to see from them, I am a little bit worried. A good pinch in front of goal doesn't quite get it, but Delusion is there for the setup, for the follow-up, I should say. And that's that third man we're talking about. It's been so crucial in this game. USYD haven't quite found it. But yeah, such a fantastic pinch. Wizard off the backboard. They had all 3 players committed up there. I don't know if that pinch was off side or off the wall, but either way, fantastic setup for the side of UniSA.
Yeah, certainly is a pleasure to watch some of these setups like you mentioned. And again, 1-1. See, these games are just very close. These 2 teams, obviously, certainly deserving of this semi-finals spot. And it, blows my mind that, this might not even be the matchup that we see in Grands. It might even be closer than this. We'll have to wait and see. But, I mean, whoever loses this still technically can make a loser's run back to Grand Finals. In fact, obviously semi-finals losers have the best chance of making it back because they have to play the least amount of games. But
have a look at these resets. Look at the amount of like, oh god, we're talking full Smash now. Look at the amount of tech skill coming in from the side of UniSA here. They went for 2 resets in a row, and it caught USYD. It didn't really catch them out. It didn't quite catch them off guard, but you could see that they weren't quite as ready for it. Delusion's going to go up for an attempt to push the ball forward. It's a bit of a clearance here, but they almost find into a goal. Sai and Negative almost trip a little bit. Delusion trying to add to the pressure just a touch, but yeah. UniSA are looking like a completely different team here. The fact that they're bringing those aerial dribbles, they're trying to get those scoops, those flicks, those resets. Delusion might go for another one here, just going to try and play it off the wall. Doesn't quite come through though. Actually a big pinch, but this time it's not going to be close onto the goal. Morse just hanging out in that backboard. That was a point which UniSA weren't super strong with. They lost 2 goals there in that first game. Delusion wins the 50, carries the ball up. Morse might have tempo on this rotate, but didn't quite cheat up far enough. Wizards now here, the 1v1's doing really well to Negative, but again, you can get it past 1 player with those sort of cheesy ones plays, but it's very hard to get it past 2. It's very rare those plays come through. Eki and Negative trying to play the 2 stack here and try and set up the pass play. It doesn't quite work out because Delusion wins the 50, but actually Sai in a great position to keep this play going, and the ball drops in front of goal, but again, no third player up. Negative isn't there. Negative indexes back towards the defensive line because they're too scared to overcommit, and that's a fair call. But it's what was the difference maker in that last game for UniSA. Morse does a fantastic job of putting the ball in front of goal, but this time it's Wizard playing the demo man.
Yeah, certainly these 2 teams are just kind of chasing it back and forth right now. I mean, we only have a little under 2.5 minutes left in this game, and it's still tied up 1-1. But, you know, that's not to say that the game is boring and nothing's happening. This ball, as you can see, is coming so close to scoring time and time again as it's constantly being chased from side of the court to side of the court. It's just that the offense and the defense is just that good that these offensive kind of plays are being made so frequently, but then the defense is good enough to be able to stop them from you know, being caught off guard, allowing those goals to happen when they shouldn't. And, you know, every single goal that happens feels like it needs to be perfect. It needs to be precise. There's been, you know, aside from that one goal that just went all the way downfield from Morse thanks to the pinch like you mentioned, it really doesn't feel like any of these goals have been accidental. It feels like all of them have just been absolute pinpoint precision making from one of the teams to just slip the ball through seemingly impossible odds.
Well, like I say, it was that third man commitment, and that's the thing about Rocket League. One of the big points of offense here, and the ball almost comes off the backboard, not quite fast enough to get past Morse. One of the big points is how you use that third man, whether or not you hold them back or whether you kind of commit up to the attack. It's a point which is maybe kind of gatekeeps team between, there's a big double commit on offense, so it means that this attack might just die here. Morse gets a good pass though. Got a couple of players to set up off. Goes off the backboard. Wizard is here, but Eki with a good inset. But yeah, it's kind of what I talked about with the third man, like how you use that third player. Here's a great setup again from Eki. Side just gets a gentle touch off the corner. Negative is there for that third man play and just gets off the crossbar. That's what I was talking about, right? If you have 3 players up, the potential of a counterattack from your opponents is massive, and you're put at a massive risk of having that ball turned around, having no defenders back. But if you can put that pressure on, if you are able to control the ball for a while, you have so much more pressure. That was so close to being a goal. Eki drops it down, but you know, Delusion is going to be there. The ball was a bit low. Side tries to put that top left bin, but it doesn't quite work again off the crossbar. USYD, great attacking play. Fantastic attacking play, but they just weren't quite able to put it on target. Negative goes up for another attempt, and it might be on here. Wizard and Morse go up for a double commit, and Delusion has to play that one just perfectly to clear it out. A bit desperate for the side of UniSA, but fantastic execution from both sides in the attack here.
Yeah, it was just unbelievable by UniSA, the defense that they just showed. We've got 4 seconds left here. It's looking like it's going to be overtime. And yes, indeed. Overtime here in match 4. USYD Rocket League looking to put themselves up to match point and beat Lethal, looking to tie things up. Definitely a lot on the line here. We'll have to see who comes out on top. Looks like USYD going to be the first ones on the offense here to get them their backs against the goal.
Yeah, the backs against the sideboard. I don't know. There's nothing quite I can't quite add on to that one. Here we are, Morse possibly going to make this one waterfall. Again, Negative getting up, getting aggressive, getting in their face. Exactly what we want to see. Sai wins that 50 pretty comfortably, and now Negative has a 1v1 against Wizard, but the ball goes too far wide to turn that one into a goal. Now they have to make the quick rotations back. Eki, with such good momentum, the boost control right here from USYD is looking fantastic. They let one go on the backboard. It could be dangerous. It is incredibly dangerous. Delusion off the backboard, a fantastic play. And I'm going to say it, that was one of the coolest games of our playoffs so far. Straight away. UniSA take it, they tie it up. That's like the part of the comeback. Wait, they don't know if they tie it up. I've forgotten the game score because I don't have the thingy in front of me. I got so wrapped up in that game.
Yeah, they tied up 2-2.
Yeah, it is tied up 2-2. So that's like UniSA, they come back in the 4th game. You know, 3rd game UniSA, never go down 2-0 against them, or whatever the phrase is. Whatever the melee copy pasta is. But in such good fashion, you know, they find creative pass plays, they use their third man effectively, they know how to sort of temper their rotations, and even though USYD step up as well, they have some of their own plays. That attacking sequence where they hit the crossbar about 3 or 4 times, fantastic. The boost control, fantastic. Really, that was such a step up from the previous games, and it feels like we're going to have a very good series on our hands. It is now effectively, though, like a best of 3. So, I don't know, I'm just excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, one team is going to win a couple of games here, and they're going to be the ones walking away from this with a spot in the grand finals. And you know, with so much on the line, so close, you have to wonder if some of these teams are going to start to crack, if the pressure is going to start to become a little bit too much.
I mean, you kind of have faith in both these teams. They've it's a bit weird because UniSA, the 2-4 scoreline was exactly what they found before, so they clearly have the ability to kind of stick out a longer series. We don't know as much from USYD, but in that 4-game sweep against their sibling team, they looked pretty comfortable even in the later stages of the game. We kind of saw their weaknesses almost being shown close from that first game, and it feels like we're elevating and elevating. I always worry about the fatigue issue. I do think that can be a thing. Double commit, an awkward sort of double commit there, but it was very low to the ground, so the defender's going to be able to get back to that one. Eki has a pass up, negative, just there for the redirect. Another really good attempt on the attack. Morse going to try and carry this one down, gets a demo on Sai as well, but doesn't quite get the positional advantage of the ball. Sai gets to respawn. Delusion threatening a reset possibly, just going to dribble it down, sort of fake that out, and Wizard is there to get the shot. Double commitment, one demo, puts the defense in a bit of an awkward spot for USYD. You're going to have to scramble back, but have enough time given the fact that Delusion wasn't, not Delusion, I think it was Morse, wasn't going quite fast enough for the attack, but unrelenting pressure now for UniSA as they hold this mid-pitch fantastically well.
It certainly is, and I gotta say, you know, we're used to UniSA having these very explosive starts to the game. I think every single match since game one, they've pretty much opened the game in the first couple of minutes with at least a goal. But this game, you know, it seems like USYD are actually doing a better job of keeping them on their toes, making sure they don't get any freebies early on. And as I say that, Morse is going to sink one in. Cast the curse, I suppose. My bad.
Unfortunate. See, that's super, super awkward. Because, okay, so you know the idea of the waterfall, right? Where the ball drops down right in front of the goal. It's like the perfect setup because it's so hard to, like, knock away from the defensive side because the ball is, like, right on the goal line. That's basically the same situation, but instead of it kind of came from a massive scramble situation. USYD try and fire back with a quick counter attack, kickoff roll, I should say. Doesn't quite work out for them. But again, it's UniSA's pressure, right? It's UniSA. They're able to keep that mid-pitch control, which gives them access to the attack, which allows them to keep the ball up on their offensive line, keep 3 players up, make sure they always have, equal numbers, and they're able to kind of pull through the defenders, control the sides of the pitch as well, and hit you from so many different angles so consistently that eventually they're going to find a goal. It doesn't matter if it's in a scramble or a big pass play, they always manage to get those, and this is where their strengths shine, and this is them finding their advantage in the start of the game. Morse, good job kind of deflecting that. It does go cross goal a little bit, but again, we need to see that 1-2-3 quick fire from USYD on the attack if they want to come back to this game.
Have to wait and see. Do have Delusion. Trying to take this one downfield right now. And I mean, this is looking like it's going to be a classic kind of game that we've seen in this series. You know, UniSA starts off with a lead. They seem to be the ones to just get their footing in a match first. And they always find themselves kind of the first goal. And then it's usually up to USYD to try and claw things back, which, I mean, look at what's going on right now. It's kind of what's happening. And then, you know, it either gets tied up and goes to overtime, or you know, USYD are able to score a second goal, or then UniSA are able to find a second goal. After that point, it becomes fairly close, but you know, it does seem like the flow of these matches kind of are fitting a certain sort of pattern.
Yeah, and Sai goes for a flip into the goal straight away. Negative actually picks up off the back of it. Not only are they freestyling, they're freestyling effectively. Have a look at this. Sai totally doesn't even need to set that up. Just goes straight for it. The deflection is there. The rebound perfect from Negative and puts it away in style. Like I say, it's one thing to freestyle. It's another thing to freestyle in upper bracket semi-finals and actually find plays off it. I'm really happy. Like, you kind of can't count UniSA out there. UniSA. You can't count USYD out of this game, even though it looked like UniSA kind of just completely had their numbers. Morse goes for a big ground pinch. Doesn't quite work out. Delusion slows the play down a little bit, and again, that was where USYD found their favor in the earlier parts of this series, so that might favor them. Sai wins the 50, passes it off to Eki, but USYD just gets there a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, you know, it's the pattern, right? Like, UniSA are going to get that first goal. USYD are going to come back, they're going to find their footing, they're going to find their first goal, and then after that, you know, now it's kind of anyone's game at this point. You know, we've seen it from this point go either way, but, you know, this is game 5, and every single game since game 2 has kind of gone this same pattern, and it looks like UniSA are going to grab one, but, you know, USYD could grab one right back. Who knows? But, you know, definitely that, you know, UniSA grabbing the first goal and USYD kind of grabbing the second does seem to be the one consistent factor. And I'm not entirely sure why that is in how they're playing. I think it might be just UniSA's ability to, again, warm up to a match a little bit better. Who knows? Who knows? But it is definitely very consistently happening.
Well, what I'm noticing, at least in this game in particular, is USYD are getting a bit, they're not kind of finding the defensive plays as well as they were before, right? They aren't finding those rotations back. They're getting picked off by the quick fire counterattacks from UniSA, because that's kind of 2 in a row, right? In the last play, before this one. Not that last goal, but the goal before, which put UniSA 2-1 up, like their second goal in this game. What kind of happened there is I think Sai was off to the side trying to make the rotate back off the offense. I think Negative was the one who'd been beaten in the contest, and then Eki just gets demoed. They weren't quite ready for a counterattack to get fired off that quickly, and to be fair, credit to UniSA for getting that demo. Eki goes for a roof shot, gets the rebound nicely, the ball gets flicked up high, but Morse is the first one to get to it, so has the control to play off the roof themselves. I don't see if that was quite a reset because I got the camera cut right at the wrong moment, but they were definitely trying for some big fancy plays. Sai in the back pocket of Eki here, so possibly a passing setup, but they just aren't able to find this momentum in the attack right at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, 15 seconds to go with how these teams have been playing defense. I think a comeback is all but impossible at this point. This is going to be UniSA putting themselves up 3-2 over their opponent. They'll only need one more victory. Only one more goal, should I say?
That was a very good goal. Negative finding that. And this is what I was kind of talking about. Again, it harkens back to that third man play. So Eki is up here, puts the ball in front of goal. You see Sai. Delusion has to kind of mark off Sai there. Like, we kind of been talking in the last few weeks about marking plays in this game, because it's not something you see as much in Rocket League. You know, you tend to see players kind of, I guess to use the NFL term, kind of play zone defense rather than like individual, like man-on-man. And in this situation, in that specific play, Delusion had two players to sort of look for. Had to either protect against the pass to Sai, had to kind of, protect against the pass from Sai, who was just sitting there right in front of the goals. And that meant that I think it was Negative who got the quick rotate up and was able to, did throw themselves straight forward. In that situation, of course, it's an easier decision to make to push up that third player because, you know, it doesn't matter if you get counterattacked for the goal. And it doesn't actually mean anything in the grand scheme of the game. You know, it's still a loss for the side of USYD, but it shows they're still in it, shows they're fighting, it shows that they know how to make those plays and they know how to execute on them. Maybe the decision-making needs to be a little bit stronger for them. I think, you know, it looked a little bit rustier in that game, but the fact that they can do it, the fact they can force those plays and they might get another one straight away. Oh, that's a really brutal own goal. That's not a disaster, but oh no, Eki and Sai have the pass play back. Morse just gets sort of dunked on. And then Delusion and Wizard just sort of almost pinch it towards their own goal. That's unfortunate. That's so sad.
Yeah, I mean, well, the defendings are called in chat, I suppose.
Yeah, the quick chat BM. It happens. It definitely happens. But hey, like, I mean, that just shows that it happens to the best of them. Morse, a little tail flick. Putting the ball forward. Delusion, it tried to power straight through that one. Of course, we saw the player defend, rotating back on the defense. So UniSA pretty happy to say, all right, we failed that attack. Let's rotate back onto the defense. Negative wants to set this one up once again. A big shot on target well, and Delusion actually puts it set up pretty nicely for Eki, but Eki just can't quite find the angle and can't quite find the pass. Because right now, USYD playing a little bit more defensively. Sai gets a demo to Wizard. This might be an opportunity if they can put the ball in the right spot, but Morse, very, very clutch, rotating through, powering through the defense, and managed to beat out one right here. So if they can get across, there could be some big things happening. Morse is playing so fantastically on the setup. Two players, both indexed up in assistance off the backboard, but again, no third. Morse didn't want to commit to that play, wanted to be ready for that rotate in case things got hairy, but they're straight back on the attack. And yeah, UniSA just not quite able to find the angles to pull the trigger.
Certainly is. Wizard, maybe getting a good shot nearly. Not quite.
Yeah, we've got to see what they can do on defense though as well, UniSA. They kind of tripped over each other a little bit there. There's kind of a bit of a knock, a bit of a bump there. Wizard's going to try and clear this one out. I'm interested to see that USYD didn't go for more of a killing blow. I guess they didn't expect UniSA to play the defense quite so slowly. I mean, Eki kind of wins that 50-50, again ends up going to an opponent off the crossbar once again. If these UniSA attacks are getting so threatening, I really don't like the fact that USYD feeling like they want to play more defensively. They don't want to get punished for the, you know, the overextension. That'd be tragic, but a 1-0 lead in Rocket League is not really a lead, as we often hear, given the nature of the game. Morse with a great redirection. That was fantastic! Look at that angle! That's so good. Delusion sets this up fantastically, and Morse just gets the gentle little touch off in the corner. Negative was there. Eki was covering the other side. They had to beat two defenders. They did it perfectly. Finds the upper right-hand corner, and this is what I was talking about. A 1-0 lead buffer is, yeah, that's just not enough in a game like Rocket League. You really want to find that second goal. Maybe USYD didn't get it even off that attacking play, but they had to at least go for it. Now the score is even, and UniSA have found themselves a lot of comfort on the attack. A big index over, a big aggressive indexing from USYD, but they're able to get the rotations back. Morse didn't find the speed on that shot. Negative and Eki both went up for that pass. Might have been going for some sort of pinch. Sai gets demoed, but should be able to respawn for the attack goes forward. Morse going to play it slowly off the backboard. Where's the setup? Delusion a little bit far forward, but is in the right position to sort of make something happen. They're going to try and waterfall this down, or at least pass off the Wizard. A great pass, but Eki again intercept. Play the close game, play the close defensive game. That's what I like from USYD. Negative, but also getting a demo. But once again, not going to find enough speed. That pass for Sai would have been fantastic, but they just didn't quite have the confidence to execute once again. USYD, more confidence. That's what we need to see. Great read on the play by Negative, but you know we still need to see a little bit more. The pinch straight down the field. Wizard shouldn't be able to get to this one. And again, a pinch counterattack. This time it goes in favor of USYD.
Yeah, certainly well played. This is exactly what UniSA need. I mean, they're only one away from victory, and now they only need one more goal to tie this up.
Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate. Like, it's hard to defend against those, right? You can never really defend against a pinch. It's kind of one of those, like, whatever. It happens, you know, it's like when you get, it's like getting crit in Pokemon, you're like, okay, whatever. Like, I did my best. I have no regrets. But, like, it doesn't feel good when it happens. Eki, 1v1 against Delusion, flicks over the top, might have gotten Wizard as well. The 1v2 clean play from Eki.
My goodness.
I'm pretty sure we saw this a little bit in the semis, but this player is probably Grand Champion ones, right? I don't even know if there is a ranked ones queue. I don't like ranked games in general are too scary for me. Even Elite Smash, like I don't know, that stuff is too intimidating. But yeah. Like, Eki is just a superstar at making those plays out of nowhere sometimes, and I think a valuable member of USYD, of course, Sai with the setups Negative, with the all-round, kind of being that secondary all-rounder, setting up sometimes for that third play. This team is, when these teams manage to find their roles, when they manage to find their comfort, they're just so good, and the fact they can make plays like that is just an extra boon. Great little deflection from Wizard. This one didn't have the speed, didn't have the momentum. It's still in a dangerous spot, though. Wizard gets a redirect. Eki, just patient enough. The whole USYD team, they're doing exactly what they need. 1 minute remaining. They've only got to hold down 2 goals before we go to a sudden death game, a final game of this series. Do or die, so to speak. But UniSA, you know, they still have an opportunity. They don't have much time, but they have enough to possibly find a 1 goal here and then maybe a 0-second goal, and they might have it. If Negative can score again, though, that might be the nail in the coffin. Sai puts it up. There's a good center on the ball there, but again, not, you know, USYD aren't going over aggressive this time, and it's playing to their favor. They don't have to now. They can sit with a 2-goal cushion, they can feel comfortable, and they can play the timer.
Yeah, with 20 seconds left, this does look like it's going to get tied up, and what a crazy semi-finals match to go all the way to Game 7.
Oh yeah, we thought this might be a stomp, and USYD said, absolutely not, do you even know who we are? And we do now! We definitely do now. This time is going to tick down to 0, and even if UniSA score here, it is going to be it is going to be that final game. And here's the thing. If you're USYD, not only did you win the last game, not only do you have the momentum, but you got the 0-second goal and your opponents didn't. I told you it was going to come back into it. It's all mental. It doesn't matter. For those of you who are wondering what I'm talking about, Game 5, USYD got that like 0-second goal, and they didn't win the game, but they denied it from UniSA in the exact same situation next game. So, mental, you know? It's all about it. It's the mental warfare. They're so smart. They're playing the long game. The 7-game long game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm sure that's going to be the deciding factor in this best of 7 series.
Yeah. Okay, maybe not, but I do like my silly narratives. But yeah, this 7th game, I don't even know quite what else to say about it. I think we just let the teams go. Sai gets demoed. Morse might have a big opportunity. Eki rushing back to the defense. Does manage to get the cross there, but 2 players did kind of bite for that one. Great patient defense coming through from USYD. UniSA set up such a great firing attack. Delusion has a secondary opportunity. UniSA set up a great firing attack, but USYD had answers to it. Too many using these team names, I swear. Eki, great setup to Sai, but again, equally great patience from Delusion. These two teams, they've felt each other out. They've got so much kind of knowledge on how the other team's playing, what they're going to look for in terms of these passes, in terms of these plays, that there isn't a lot, you know, it's just going to come down to the fundamentals and the execution, and that's so exciting for Game 7. I really think this might be one of my favorite series so far of the year.
Yeah, certainly does seem to be a very exciting one. We are, of course, on the Game 7 of semis. I feel like I wouldn't be even surprised if this is the Grand Finals matchup. You know, if whoever loses this gets knocked down to losers bracket, and then whoever wins this ends up winning, you know, upper bracket finals, and then the other team kind of makes, you know, the losers bracket run all the way back to meet them in grands. Definitely something I could see 100% happening. These teams are so close together. And if honestly, if one of these teams isn't who wins this, I'll be very surprised, because they're playing some incredible Rocket League right now. Probably the best that I've personally seen all tournament.
It is good. It's some fantastic Rocket League. I think we have seen some fantastic games. There are a lot of other really, really good teams. I think that, you know, there is a lot to see elsewhere in the bracket. We have kind of focused on this part of the upper bracket a lot on our stream, so I think there is like a lot more to show Psy. That was a very unfortunate touch. Might cost them a little bit here. Eki just puts the ball up high, takes a 50 against Lawson, wins that one out for now, so that was very, very important. Eki, gentle touch off to side, but Delusion's doing a great job, not just holding off the ball, but also holding off two defenders. And Delusion has done such a great job of just being that player who's able to stay patient and calm in those scrambling situations. Eki almost gets that first touch, Delusion just getting a little bit extra speed. Great pass play from UniSA to try and set up the momentum. Negative pounds the ball down the field, but isn't able to get too much more of this one right at the moment. UniSA, they're playing conservative on their defense right at the second, and even with that demo, I don't think USYD's going to be able to find a big attack yet.
Yeah, what do you see? Negative setting up for this one here. And it is just a scramble again. These two teams, the ball does not stay on one half of the field for very long. It gets punted down to one side. There's a bit of a scramble. There's either a goal, a big defense, and if there is a defense, the other team is almost sure to pick it up and just run with it all the way to the other side. And it's actually crazy that we're almost at 2 minutes left in this round, Game 7, and no one has scored yet. Can you imagine if this gets all the way to a 0-0 overtime just on match 7? Like, this is insane. Cannot get closer than this.
No, you're right. Like, I don't know if my heart could take that. Absolutely. And I mean, these teams are playing conservatively, but double commit on the defense, but not enough to pull that one forward. Negative almost had a very dangerous touch there as Delusion just got to the ball early. UniSA being the ones to get to play faster. Delusion set the ball off the crossbar. Negative, you have to contest this one. Does just do it. The 50 in front of goal goes out wide. Perfect for the defenders right here. And now USYD scramble a little bit with it, but Morse the one to pick it up. UniSA, they're setting up. They're doing that thing. They're doing that thing where they control the attacking line, and it's so dangerous. I mean, it's broken for now for USYD. They've slowed down the game just a touch. Delusion playing passively with trying to pull the players forward, but I think it's actually bit them in the butt. You rarely want to play slow unless you really can get an advantage off it. If this pinch up the corner goes well, Negative does get a good touch, but Morse has to clear it out without getting the ball over to side. Delusion doesn't quite get the hand on that play, so it's up to Wizard once again. But UniSA, they're going to lock themselves into this attacking half. They're going to set up these rotational attacks. They're going to do everything they can. Negative didn't have the boost to keep going up with that one, so we're going to reset the play again. Psy hasn't demoed someone in 1 minute, and I'm going to not going to lie, that seems out of character for this game. Delusion, oh, this is so dangerous again if the defenders can't get to it. Negative, pretty comfortable saves there, wins the 50 as well. Actually just takes Wizard out, doesn't even have to win the 50, and Psy goes up the play. It's going to waterfall down awkwardly. Actually, not quite waterfall, but it's going to come off the roof very, very awkwardly. And this shot is players just so back and forth. It's so close. Wizard has an opening, but not quite making it. 30 seconds left, Kadius. It's so close. You wanted that overtime. We might just see it. Next goal almost certainly will win. UniSA on the offense, and right now it feels like USYD's win condition right now is the timer, playing to the overtime and resetting the mental just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. USYD's pressure right now is insane. Psy barely defending. And now, oh no, absolutely disastrous. Eki finds an opening. It goes all the way downfield. And it was just, you've been talking about this fetch, the triple commit coming back to bite them. 10 seconds left. They find themselves an open net. And this could be USYD's ticket to the upper bracket finals.
This has to be a quick fire attack from UniSA. They're so good at that, but the demos are coming in thick and fast. It's going to make it harder to set up a play. Wizard goes to the shot of the backboard, but the timer is ticking down. UniSA, it's this or nothing. The ball hits the ground, and USYD make the upset. What the hell happened in that series? Like, I thought, okay, UniSA, they're powering up. They're going to find it. They're making the adaptation. You know, they've got the download. But, like, at the last game, they just sort of trip up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. My guess is as good as yours. That was just an absolutely crazy set of games. I have no words. That just the fact that the final goal of such a close best of 7 was just getting a pinch and it just flying all the way downfield and getting a tragic goal. And honestly, the beauty and the irony of it all is that's exactly how UniSA won one of their games, was that exact circumstance where they just got a pinch and then the goal went, and that's, they, got themselves a lead, and then that ended up winning them the game. And then so I guess, lightning does strike twice, and it strikes in the hearts of your enemy this time as the exact same thing happens, and it's for USYD, and it's going to be the ticket that takes them all the way to the upper bracket finals.
Yeah, that's the way that's the way UniSA's upper bracket run will end, not with a bang, but with a ball crawling over at like 20 km an hour. That's so sad. But at the end of the day, it was a phenomenal series, a great best of 7. We didn't get the overtime we wanted, but it came down to the last 10 seconds of the game, and it was so incredibly close. And thank you so much to these two teams. I think UniSA are going to be a terrifying threat in the lower bracket. I'd be interested to see who they're likely to face. It's going to be the winner. Oh, okay. My bracket's being a bit weird. So we haven't played any of our lower bracket games yet, so we're still waiting for that lower bracket to form up a little bit more. But USYD Rokit, credit to them for winning, are going to be playing against the winner of Monash Ball Chasers and UQU Purple. And you talked about favorites and players who are potentially, or teams I should say, who potentially could make it to that grand finals. I could see either of those two teams there. So we really are down to the meat and potatoes of the whole bracket. I think USYD was a massive upset. They might be making... Normally we call the Cinderella run the lower bracket run, but I think that USYD, the underdog run, could be happening here. I mean, these players are fantastic. Don't get me wrong. They're incredibly good. But up against the caliber of team like UniSA, like Monash, like UQU, they've got their work cut out for them. I believe, personally, they could make it. I agree with you. They could be a grand final team. They're making it the upper bracket final, at least for now. But there are so many fantastic games we've still got to look forward to. And, of course, thanks to all of our sponsors, Chatime, our presenting partner, AOC, our monitor partner, Indomie, our noodle partner. It feels so weird saying that. But, yeah, feed your game with Indomie. I love saying the line. And Rig headsets. Thank you all for them for for helping us get this broadcast to you. Because oh my god, that was fantastic.
Yeah, certainly. And, well, if you look at the bracket here, you'll just have to see exactly who USYD Rokit are going to be facing up against, whether or not it's going to be Monash Ball Chasers or UQU Purple in our next semi-finals match. And to catch all that action, make sure you're tuning in, of course, right here to the Australian Esports League Uni League for Season 2. And to catch all that, you can follow at AU Esports League on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all that great stuff to make sure you never miss a game, not just for Rocket League, but of course all the other great Uni League games that they've got going on, such as Dota 2, Rainbow Six Siege, Counter-Strike, all that great stuff. I believe World of Tanks is coming soon as well, that they've been talking about a little bit.
I'm so keen. I'm actually kind of keen for that. I haven't played World of Tanks in ages, but it's such a weird game. It's like so incredibly nuanced and advanced and interesting, but I haven't really seen it played much competitively. I've only just had competitive players yell at me about, no, you've got to angle properly. You're not setting up, you're not peeking properly. Like, come on, this armor is angled for a reason. And I'm like, okay, I press button. So that's actually really exciting. Of course, also, follow us at our social medias, which I believe are on screen, but I can't see the stream right now, so...
Yes, they are on screen. Screen. I can confirm.
Fantastic job.
Kadius Casts and The Far Fetched. Make sure to go and check those out. Yeah, World of Tanks, I've never played it. I have a coworker that plays it a lot, and he'll come in to work some days and just tell me about some new tank that he's got. I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. So I know that there's definitely some big fans of the game out there, so that should be exciting. So make sure you stay tuned in right here to at AU Esports League on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, like I mentioned, and as well as that on Twitch at AEL Uni and AEL Uni 2. Catch all the games there. Drop a follow. And until next time, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Big congratulations to USYD, and hopefully UniSA are going to make us proud with a brilliant losers bracket run. And until next time, we'll see you then.